Hi, and thanks for joining me for this practice. It's going to be a sort of 45-ish minute beginner level practice, but just because you're not a beginner doesn't mean it's not appropriate. Sometimes we just need to keep things simple, to go back to basics and just check in with how we're practicing, the quality of what we're doing. The little details always matter. So as always, it's important that you listen to your body. Remember, the golden rule of any yoga practice is if it hurts, don't do it. And if you have questions about anything that's in the practice, just pop them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So without further ado, let's get started. I just want you to make yourself comfortable sitting cross-legged. Remember, if you're tight in the hips, you can sit on a cushion or a block. And just for a moment, close your eyes. And see if you can let go of any obvious areas of tension in the body, especially around your face, your eyes and mouth, around your jaw and your shoulders. And just let your mind come to settle on your breath. So you're hoping to direct your attention inward. Keeping your breath calm and even through the nose. Just start to bring your body forward, keeping your hands about shoulder width apart or a little wider. And try to feel like you're moving your chest forward, not just your head down. If it feels good for you, you can start to sway a little bit side to side. Of course, if you're very comfortable, you might be able to bring the chest onto the shins, but that's not important. Just go to where you feel a comfortable sense of lengthening in the back of the hips. Take one more smooth breath here. And after you breathe out, gently sit back up. And you can either just lean back and swap your legs, but if you're feeling a bit more enthusiastic, try picking up your hips, picking up your feet, swap the legs in midair, and then lower your body back down. And take a moment to settle into roughly the same position with the legs crossed the other way, remembering sometimes we get a bit habitual with the way we move the body. And then start to slowly come forward. And again, the two sides might feel quite different. If you've only ever sat cross-legged with the left leg in front or the right leg in front, they will be quite different to each other. As we develop our practice, we also develop a little bit more symmetry in the body. But it just takes time. So again, a little swaying or rocking movement is fine if that feels good for you. Sometimes it's nice to roll your head side to side as well. And just take one more slow breath here, always breathing in and out through your nose. And then bring your body back up. And I want you to make your way into kneeling plank. So knees just a little behind the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. And make sure you're gripping your fingertips down to help stabilize the wrists. To begin with, I just want you to see if you can move your spine without thinking about it too much. So you can move side to side, you can move up and down, you can move in circles. I just want you to see how much mobility you have in the spine from that position. And just make sure you keep the shoulders away from your ears. If you have a tendency to lock your elbows, just keep your arms a little bit bent. And now make your way back into a neutral position. And with your toes tucked under, take the left leg back to the toe tip. And you can either stay there or you can raise the leg. And you can either stay there or you can take the right arm forward. Keep the left elbow strong, the arm unlocked. Take one more breath here. And after breathing out, lower back to where you started in kneeling plank. And take the right leg back to the toe tip. Now again, stay with the foot down if you'd like, or raise the leg, but try and keep the knee straight. And either stay there or reach the left arm forward. And try and turn the left palm up a little bit. Take one more breath here. Try to stretch right out into the fingers and toes. And then make your way gently back into kneeling plank. Make sure that you're still looking down, keep the back of the neck long. And with the spine in a fairly neutral position, stay here if you're not doing strong stomach work for any reason. But otherwise, maybe lift the knees about 10 centimetres. Hold that position for 1 or 2 more smooth breaths through the nose. And then gently lower back onto your knees and move your hips back onto your heels. Try and reach out into the hands. And see if you can find a little stretch under the armpits. We're going to stay here just for a couple of breaths. So be gentle, not forcing the body. Allow it to soften. And after exhaling once more here, I want you to come back into kneeling plank. And from there, keep your knees bent, lift your hips and try to make a straight line from the hands to the sit bones. Let your head drop down between the elbows. And now see if you can straighten your legs, making our way into downward facing dog. Now, in most cases you won't get the heels down initially. That might take a couple of months or a couple of years, or it might never happen. It doesn't really matter. But try to keep a sense of pressing back through the calves, down through the heels. Press down and forward through your hands. And try to press your armpits and your chest towards your feet. At the same time, try to tilt your tailbone up as high as you can. And then give your head a little roll side to side, relaxing the back of the neck. Take one more breath here. Try to relax the face as you breathe out and lengthen your exhalation. And then gently raise your heels, look forward, step your feet to your hands, and then stand all the way up. Reach your arms up high, stretching up into the fingers. Now looking forward is a good option, but if your neck will allow it, you can look up past the hands. Maybe hands separated is better if your shoulders are tight. And then gently bring your hands down in front of your heart, and we'll take a couple of rounds of Sun Salute of Surya Namaskar A. So start with the hands together in front of the heart, feet together, and gently breathe out all the way. Reach your arms up high, stretch to the fingers and maybe look up. And keeping your back straight, fold forward. It might be better for you to bend the knees if you're tight in the backs of the legs. Take another breath in here and see if you can move the collarbones forward so you're lengthening the front of the body. Then take your hands to the mat and step back to downward facing dog, where you were a few moments ago. From downward facing dog, move forward into full plank as you breathe in, and then lower to your knees, and keeping your spine straight lower to your mat. Then point your toes, press back through your hands and lift your chest. And either stay there, or if you'd like, you can raise the feet, but try to keep the knees straight. Take another smooth breath in here. And then bring your hands next to your ribs, keeping the knees down, press back to kneeling plank, then full plank, and then press back to downward facing dog. Take a breath or two here, check that your feet are hip width, your hands are shoulder width. And calmly exhale once more. Then raising your heels, look forwards, and bring your feet to the hands as quietly as you can. Then press your hips forward, knees a little bent as you stand and reach the arms high. And again, like that, fold your body forward, bending the knees as much as you need to keep the spine straight. As you breathe in, lift the collarbones forward and take a breath in. Bring the hands down and step back once more into downward facing dog. Move forward into plank as you breathe in, and you can keep the knees up or lower them down, your choice, but keep your body in a straight line as you lower to your mat. Again, point the toes, press back through the hands and lift the chest.
And if it feels okay, pull the shoulders back with the hands interlaced. Either stay there or raise the feet as you breathe in. And holding your breath if you can, hands next to the ribs, knees up or down to plank, and then back into downward facing dog. And again, just hold there for a couple of breaths. Try to slow your exhalations down. And after your next out breath, raise your heels, look forwards, and bring your feet to your hands and gently exhale. Press your hips forward to stand. Reach the arms up high as you breathe in. And once more like that, fold your body forward. Hands to the shins, or maybe if you're comfortable, to the mat. Lift the collarbones forward, lengthening navel to throat as you breathe in. And then take hands to the mat and step back once more into downward facing dog. Move forward into plank as you breathe in. Keep your body in a straight line as you lower to the mat. Then point the toes, press back through the hands and breathe in. And maybe interlace opposite thumb on top, pull the shoulders back as you exhale. Stay there, or keeping that shape in your spine, lift everything except hands and feet off the mat, upward facing dog. And make your way back into plank and then to downward facing dog. And again, just settle in down dog for a breath or two. Make sure the shoulders are moving wide. Keep space around the neck. And after you breathe out, raise your heels, look forwards and breathe in. And bring the feet lightly to the hands and exhale. And stand all the way up. Reach the arms high as you breathe in. And keeping your arms raised, squeeze the ankles and knees and sink down into a half squat position. Utkatasana, this one's called, which means fierce posture. Try to pull the shoulders back a little further, reach up to the fingers as you breathe in. Hopefully a little stretch in the calves. And then fold your body forward and exhale in your forward bend. Lift the collarbones forwards and take a breath in. Then taking your hands to the mat, step lightly back into downward facing dog once more. And in this down dog, I just want you to start gently pedaling out through your knees for a couple of breaths. Try to keep the chest moving towards the toes and find a little deeper stretch for the calves and the backs of the ankles. Make sure the neck and shoulders remain soft. Breathe out once more here, settling into a symmetrical position. Now keeping your left heel down and hips level, reach up to the right leg. And holding there, press your chest towards the left foot. Take another breath in and stretch out to the right toes. Then step your right foot forward into a long lunge between the hands. Spin your back heel down. Then bring your right elbow up onto your knee, your left hand to your hip, and try and turn your body to the side. Once you've got your body turned to the side, you can stay with the hand on the hip, but ideally see if you can reach it past your head and lengthen all the way down the left side of your body. Ideally have the right thigh parallel to your mat. And as you press your back foot down, reach up into the left hand. Take one more smooth breath here. And after you breathe out, gently bring the left hand down, spin your back foot to face forward, and place your left knee to your mat. Slide the right foot in a little bit, reach your arms up high. And we're going to take a twist to the right. So just take your left hand outside your right knee, the right hand to the back of the hip, and twist and look over your right shoulder. Try to keep your spine straight and the body upright. So the head, the hips and the left knee all in line. Take one more breath here. And see if you can turn perhaps a little deeper as you breathe out. And gently unravel your spine. Take your hands to the floor next to your right foot, and keeping your ribs and right thigh together, see how far you can move the hips back. So if you've separated your body from the right thigh, you've gone too far. In most cases, you won't get all the way over the leg, so your position might be more like this with the knee bent. Exhale once more here. Then gently bending your right knee, raise the left. Now, if you're not doing strong stomach work, you can skip this bit, but otherwise on the palm of the left-hand fingers of the right, see if you can press into your hands and pick up the right foot. Hover it there for a moment, and then step it back to downward facing dog. Settle yourself in down dog for a breath or two. And after your next out breath, reach the left leg high, stretch up to the toes, and press your right heel down, the right calf back as you breathe out. Make a straight line from the hands to the left foot, stretching out as you inhale, and then step your left foot forward between the hands, ideally one silent movement, 2 or 3 if you need. Spin the right heel down, bring your left elbow to your knee, and reach your right arm up and past your head, or again like you did first side, maybe hand onto the hip. Try to have a sense of pulling your front ribs in, but lift up through the right side of the body if you can. Take one more calm breath here, and see if you can stretch out a little further through the right side. Keep the left shoulder relaxed. After you exhale, take your hands down, spin the back foot to face forward, and gently lower onto your right knee. Then again, bring your body upright, maybe sliding your left foot in, reach to your hands, and turn your upper body this time to the left. So again, we're keeping the right knee, the hips, the shoulders and head all in a straight line, trying to just revolve the spine around its axis. Keep the left ear a little raised as you look over the left shoulder, turning further for the last breath or two here. After your next exhalation, turn the head, then unravel the body. Take your hands down next to the left foot, and keeping your left ribs and thigh together, just start to move your hips back to where you get a stretch. Of course, if you're very comfortable, you can lay the body over the leg, but that won't happen for most people, at least not straight away. And make sure the lower back is straight. Exhale once more here, letting the leg and the back of the spine relax. And then gently bend your left knee and raise the right. And again, skipping this bit if you're not doing strong stomach work. Press the right palm down, the left fingers down. Pick up your left foot, hover it between the hands. And then step it gently back into downward facing dog. Now you might just like to sink down onto your knees and stretch forward in child's pose here. But if you're more enthusiastic, come forward into plank with shoulders over wrists, and then smoothly lower your body down. You can lift chest and hands just pressing back, or maybe raise the feet, or maybe lift to up dog, just hands and feet on the mat. Make your way from there back into downward facing dog. So 2 straight lines, one from hands to hips, one from hips to heels. Exhale once more here. And after you breathe out, raise your heels, look forwards, and bring the feet silently to the hands and calmly exhale. Press your hips forward, stand up, stretch up to the fingers. If it feels okay, look up and maybe stretch a little back. Then lower your hands gently down onto your hips. And keeping your right foot facing forward, step your left foot back a leg distance, but also a little bit out to the side. I want you to try and turn your hips to face forward, pull the shoulders back, and lift your collarbones up so you're lengthening navel to throat. Then keep that shape in your spine, and just gently start to hinge forward from the hips and stop where your right leg starts to stretch. Stay looking down at your right big toe. Make sure that your right leg is straight but not quite locked out, which is a little tricky. Keep the arch in your spine and your shoulder blades pulling towards each other. And if you'd like to go a little bit further now, take your hands to interlace and pull the shoulders back. See if you can find a deeper stretch across the collarbones. Press down into your left heel and press down through the sole of the front foot. Just holding here for another breath or two, a great way to strengthen the spine or spinal muscles and stabilising the hips. After your next out breath, keep the hands wherever you've got them, bend your right knee a little bit, see if you can lean forward and either rest lightly on the left toes or raise the left leg if you'd like. Take one more breath here. It's okay to have the right knee bent. After you exhale, bring the left foot to the right, reach your arms up, stretching through to the fingers. And bring the hands back down onto the hips, and we'll do the same on the second side. So again, left foot stays where it is, right leg goes back a leg distance and just a little out to the side. Turn your hips and shoulders to face forward. Looking at your hands is a good way to check on that. Then pull the shoulders back, lift the collarbone so we're creating length along and across the front of the body. Keep that shape and hinge forward from the hips, trying not to move the legs or the hips out of alignment. So although the hips are doing a forward bend, the spine's still doing a back arch. And again, stay looking down, not forward. Try not to squash the back of your neck. Either stay there, just squeezing the elbows and shoulders back, or interlace, but this time put the opposite thumb on top, the one that feels a little strange. Keep the arch in your spine. And keep stability and strength in your legs. There should be a little sense of stretch in the back of the left leg, but we're not trying to go into a deep hamstring stretch here. So holding for one more calm breath, always through the nose. And after you breathe out, bend the left knee a little, slide the back foot in, either rest lightly on the toe tip or raise the leg. Keep reaching to the toes and reach back through the hands. Reach forward through the crown of your head. Just gently breathe out once more here. And after you exhale, bring the right foot to the left, reach the arms up, stretching into the fingers, maybe up and back. And gently lower your hands down. Now step your left foot back about 1.5 meters. Bring your feet roughly parallel. I want you to make sure your kneecaps are pulled up so your knees are unlocked. Then take your hands down underneath your shoulders. Now if you can't reach the ground, you've got a couple of options. You can try taking your feet wider, or you can maybe put your hands on a block or a cushion or something to make the ground a little bit higher. I just want you to stay here for a couple of breaths and see if you can pull the shoulders back, move the head forward and move the tailbone back. Try to have the weight even on your feet, the toes, the heels, the inside and outside edge of the foot. And just take one more breath here. After breathing out, take your right hand down underneath your face. Take your left hand onto the back of your hip and twist and look up over your left shoulder. Try to keep the head centered over the right hand. And breathe out once more here. After you exhale, swap and do the same on the other side. So left hand down underneath the face, right hand to the back of the right hip. As you keep the head centered, turn to the right. And try to gently press down with your right hand to keep the hips level. Breathe out once more here, deepening your twist as you exhale. And then release and come back to the center. Take one more breath in here. And after you breathe out, stay there if that's already quite strong. Otherwise, start to walk your hands back in line with the feet. And take your head towards or to the mat. Keep the legs strong, kneecaps pulled up. Take one more calm breath here. And after breathing out, Take the hands back under the shoulders, lift the collarbones and arch the spine a little. Then bring the chin in, press up between the shoulders and breathe out. Then turn your feet out about 45 degrees and keeping your hands to the floor, just rock your hips side to side as much as feels comfortable for you. Just a nice little dynamic stretch for the inner legs. Maybe one side needs a bit more attention than the other. And come back to the center. Just heel and toe your feet together. Then stand your body up. Reach up into your fingers. And then lower your arms gently down. Taking a couple of little balancing postures. Standing on your right foot, I want you to reach down and hold your left ankle with your left hand and see if you can bring your heel up to your buttock. Then ideally hold the foot with the right hand as well. Squeeze your knees towards each other. Then pull the left foot up and the left knee back. And see if you can find a little stretch in the left thigh and front of the hip. Pull the shoulders down and back, but lift up through the collarbones and the crown of the head. And just hold here for 1 or 2 more breaths. After you breathe out, gently release the left foot and do the same on the other side. So gripping your left toes down will help with the balance. Maybe bending the knee a little bit will help with the balance as well. Then reach down with the right hand, hold your right ankle. Bring the foot up towards the buttock, and if you can, hold your foot with both hands. Then squeeze the right knee towards the left, pull your right foot up and your right knee back. A bit wobbly today. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Try to lengthen all the way from your right knee up to your throat. And just take one more smooth breath here. And after breathing out, gently release the foot and lower it down. Give the knees a little shake. And then standing on your right foot, take your left foot to toe tip and turn your thigh out. You can either stay there if you're feeling wobbly today, otherwise place your left foot either to the calf or up towards the top of the thigh, but just remember not to press against the side of your knee. Once you've got the foot in place, press the thigh and foot against each other, or calf and foot against each other. Take your arms out to the side with the palms facing up at shoulder height, and see if you can drop your shoulders down as you reach to the fingers. You can either stay there or keep the shoulders down and take your arms up to 45 degrees. So this is Vriksasana, tree posture. Stretch to the fingertips, pull the left knee back, and just take one more breath here. After breathing out, lower the hands and the left foot, and we'll do the same on the other side. So again, gripping your left toes into the mat, take your right toe tip down and turn your thigh out. So we're trying to work with opening the hip. Either stay there or foot to the calf or above the knee, but not against the knee, eventually high up to the top of the left thigh. Press the leg and foot against each other. Then take your arms out at shoulder height. Try to have the palms facing up and the shoulders pulled down. It's like you're bringing your body into one straight plane. Either stay there or take your arms up to about 45 degrees. Keep reaching out into the fingers and try and turn the palms to face back. Take one more breath here, reaching out a little bit further. And then gently release the hands and the right foot. And give your knees a little shake. Then step back to the front of your mat. Exhale all the way. Bring the backs of your hands together, reach the arms high. Stretch up to the fingers as you breathe in. And then fold forward hands to shins or mat and breathe out. Lift the collarbones, lengthen navel to throat as you breathe in. Then take your hands down and step back once more into downward facing dog. Either come back to child's pose and rest or rest in down dog. Otherwise, move forward into plank. And either knees up or knees down. Lower smoothly, don't race, and gently breathe out. Lift the chest, maybe chest and feet. Maybe up dog if you'd like. And then gently press back into downward facing dog and exhale. Everyone just settle there for a breath. And after you breathe out, grip your right fingers down, roll to the outer edge of your right foot, place your left foot on the right. You can stay lightly on the left fingers if you need, but ideally see if you can reach your left arm high. Try to bring the hips forward so the body's again in one plane. And just take one more breath here. After breathing out, lower the left hand down and do the same on the other side. So roll to the outside of the left foot, place right foot on left, grip your left fingers down and keep the left arm unlocked. Reach the right arm high. And try to reach forward through the crown of your head. Take one more breath, reach to the right fingers and lift the hips. And releasing back into downward facing dog. Take one more breath here. Let the head hang down, relax the neck. Then gently lower onto your knees. And everyone come back to child's pose. So move the hips back, the head and hands forward. And again, just see if you can relax under the armpits, around the back of the shoulders. Take one more breath here. And after you exhale, bring your body back up and we're going to sit on the feet just for a couple of breaths. So keep your toes tucked under, place your hands on your thighs and just see if you can give the soles of your feet a little stretch out. You might like to roll your shoulders down and back and lift the collarbones up. And just take one more breath here. After you breathe out, see if you can roll back into a squat position just for a couple of breaths. You might need to separate the feet a little bit. You might be able to keep them more or less together. Reach the arms forward for a breath or two. And if you're really enthusiastic, bring your knees to your upper arms and lift the hips into Bakasana, lift the feet as well. Take one more breath here. And then gently, from wherever you are, sit back down and stretch your legs out in front. Just give your knees a little shake. Maybe give your kneecaps a little jiggle. And then with your left leg stretched out in front, bend your right leg out to the side. Now, if you've got really sensitive knees, you can do this with your right foot around the left knee, or you can even stretch the right leg straight out to the side. But ideally, the foot moving towards the top of the left thigh. Once you've done that, take your hands either side of your left knee or calf and just rock your hips a little side to side. See if you can tilt your tailbone back a little bit. Checking with how you feel there. Your right knee might be up, that's okay. Gently start to press it down towards the mat. Then reach your right hand forward maybe to your ankle, if it feels okay, or if you're a little more supple to the heel. Use your left hand gently pressing forward to have your chest facing your left foot. And then see if you can bring the body forward over your legs. So again, we're not dropping the head down and rounding the spine. It should feel like you're moving your chest and head forward. And if you're very comfortable there, you can bring both hands to the foot, hold around the heel, not the toes. Gently start to bring the body a little further forward if that feels okay for you. Wherever you are, take one more smooth breath. And after breathing out, gently bring your body back up. Stretch up high to your hands, reaching into the fingers. Then interlacing fingers press up through the palms as you breathe out. Taking another smooth breath in. reach the arms a little higher, pull the elbows further back. And as you breathe out, take your right hand to your left knee and your left hand to the mat just behind your hip. Then with your head over your hips, lift up and start twisting to your left. Make sure both sit bones are evenly weighted. And again, as you turn to the left, lift the left ear slightly. And you can either stay there, or if you're really comfortable, see if you can bring your left arm around to hold the inner right thigh. And if you're still very comfortable, maybe take the right hand to the outer left ankle, or maybe to the outer left heel. So whichever option you're in, it's a twist for the spine. The deeper variation just allows you to go a little bit further for those who are more supple. Take one more breath here. After you breathe out, unravel the body. Again, reach your arms up high, stretching into the fingers. And now lower your hands down and stretch the right leg out in front. Again, give your right knee a little shake if you'd like. Then take your hands, so you don't have to turn around, I'm just turning so you can see. Take your hands back behind you. If you've got sensitive wrists, be on the fists. If you've got a sensitive lower back, you can stay here and just lift the collarbones. Otherwise, we're going to bend the knees. And then as you breathe in, lift the hips and try to make a straight line from the knees to the shoulders. Press your shoulders towards the hips, not shrugging them. And either stay looking past the knees, or if it feels okay, look up. And keep your elbows unlocked here. Try to lift the collarbones and the hips as you take one more breath. And then gently lower your body down. And we'll repeat all of that on the second side. So stretch your right leg out in front and left leg either to the top of the right thigh, around the right knee, or straight out to the side. So just do what feels best for your body at this point in time. Again, once you're there, take your hands either side of the right knee or right calf and just rock side to side to free up the sit bones. Now you might just stay there, and that's fine if you're already getting a strong stretch for the right leg or the lower back. If you're comfortable, take the left hand to the ankle or maybe to the inner right heel. Use the right hand gently pressing forward to turn so that your sternum, your chest is facing the right foot. And then as you feel your body relaxing, getting more comfortable with that position, start to fold forward over your leg. And again, maintain that sense of trying to move the head and the chest forward, not just dropping down towards the shin. And again, the two sides might feel quite different. That's okay. Remember, you're getting to know your body, all its little idiosyncrasies in the practice. Just hold here for a last breath or two, allowing the right leg and the back of the body to soften. And after breathing out, sit back up, reach your arms high, stretching up to the fingertips. Then opposite thumb on top, interlace and press up through your palms. Take another breath in, pulling the elbows and shoulders back, lift through the crown of the head. And as you breathe out, turn to the right, take your left hand down and your right hand to the floor, just behind the hips. So again, we're trying to keep the spine upright as we twist. So no side bend, no forward bend, no back bend, just a twist. And staying there is absolutely fine. But if you can easily do so, bring your right hand around to hold the inner left thigh. And maybe start to take the left hand towards outer right ankle or outer right heel. If you're in this variation, it shouldn't feel like you're trying to forward bend. It should feel like you're trying to sit up, just like you're leaning away from the left hand. Just a last breath or two here. Make sure you're breathing still through the nose and allowing the stomach to move freely. After your next exhalation, unravel the body. Reach your arms high, stretch up into the fingertips. And then lower your hands down, stretch the left leg out.
And maybe again give your left knee a little bit of a jiggle. Then once more taking your hands back behind you. And you've got the option now to keep the legs straight if your lower back is strong. Otherwise, you can just stay pulling the shoulders back and the collarbones up, a stretch across the upper chest. You can take a bent leg variation like we did a few minutes ago, or you can keep the legs straight and lift the hips. Pavottanasana, it's a counter posture for the forward bending. Keep the elbows unlocked, the shoulders moving forward. And again, if you're comfortable, lift the face towards the sky. Wherever you are, take one more breath, lifting collarbones and hips. And then gently lower your body down. Then bend your knees. Bring your hands around the shins, holding opposite elbows. Lift your collarbones up, press the ribs towards the thighs, and then gently lean back and see if you can find a balance point. Once you've found your balance point, close your eyes. And see if you can slow your breath down. Try to find a point of perfect balance, floating weightlessly. Take one more breath here. And after breathing out, gently open your eyes, bring your feet down to your mat once more. Then take your knees wide, and we'll start with the feet forward about 40 centimetres or so. Maybe start with your hands behind you, pull the shoulders down and back as you lift the chest forward and up. And then just give your knees a little bit of a butterfly to the side. So just a really gentle movement, just to help relax the inner hips. Now you might just like to stay here now, pressing the knees gently away from each other and pulling the shoulders back. If you have strong knees, I want you to now bring your feet in towards the hips, coming into bound angle posture, Baddha Konasana. Try to roll the top of the hips forward. And again, you might like to stay with the hands behind you for a couple of breaths and try and press the knees wide. If you're comfortable here, if you can keep the lower back straight, take hold of your feet. Now some people say you must have the soles of the feet together, some people say you must have them opened out. It actually doesn't matter, just do what feels better for your body. Wherever you are, try to think of lengthening diagonally from the tailbone to the collarbones. So the back of the body anchored down, the front of the body lifting up. Try to pull the rib cage forward between the upper arms. At the same time, pull the shoulders down and press the knees wide. So as you press the knees wide, they'll automatically go down. Just the last couple of breaths here, maybe close your eyes and see if you can just relax your breathing. Take one more breath here. Find somewhere where you can relax and let go of tension. And gently opening your eyes, pick up your knees, keep your feet down, bring the knees back into the chest and try and have the opposite arm on top. To begin with, squeeze your knees outwards against the arms and then gently squeeze them towards each other. Take one more breath. And then gently come to lying down on your stomach. And I want you to start with your feet about hip width apart. Rest your head on the back of the hands and just gently rock your hips side to side. Make sure you're breathing into the belly, so we don't want to keep the stomach rigid. And as you take deep breaths into the belly, you might feel the breath pressing towards the kidneys and lower back. After your next out breath, bring your feet together and try to reach out through your big toes a little bit.
Then bring your elbows in by your sides, lift your chest and your hands. Keep reaching out through the feet. Maybe raise your legs now. And just take one more smooth breath. Now bring your feet back to the mat. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders and come into half cobra, Ardha Bhujangasana. Keep your shoulders moving back, the chest moving forward. And stay looking down just a little in front of your hands. So we don't need to squash the neck. We tend to do a lot of that when we're sitting at desks and in cars. So give this posture a chance to stretch out the back of the neck. Take one more breath in here. And after you breathe out, just lower down. Again, rest your head on the backs of the hands. Take a couple of relaxed breaths, rocking the hips gently side to side. Now again, point the toes, squeeze the elbows in, lift the chest and hands. And either bring your elbows down under your shoulders like you did a moment ago, or if that was very easy, bring your hands next to your shoulders and see if you can lift a little bit higher. It's important here the front of the hips stay down, that your shoulders stay down and back, and that you're still reaching out to your big toes. It shouldn't feel like you're trying to push up and back so much as trying to pull the body forward. And see if you can find a little stretch in the stomach. Take one more breath here, maybe lifting a little higher if it's comfortable. And then gently lower down once more. Rest your head on your hands. You might like to turn your head the other way. And again, give the hips a little rock from side to side. And last time, squeeze the elbows in, lift the chest and hands, so an active arch to begin with. Then either bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, like we did first time, half cobra, or hands next to the shoulders in full cobra. And if you are taking Bhujangasana, you might be able to lift a little higher for the third round, but only if it's comfortable for your body. Try to pull the rib cage forward a little bit, deepening the stretch in the stomach. Lifting a little higher for the last breath or two here. And then gently lower your body down. Rest for a breath or two. Again, rocking the hips side to side. And when you're ready, bring your elbows under your shoulders. Lift your hips up off the mat. So we're taking a forearm kneeling plank. And either stay on the knees, or if you're comfortable, pick the knees up. And just hold here for one or two more breaths. And after breathing out once more, lower back down and roll onto your back. Once you're lying on your back, rest your hands on your belly, bend your knees, and with your feet near the edges of your mat, let the knees drop in towards each other. Close your eyes. Just start to tune into your breathing. And see if you can start to slow it down, particularly lengthening the out breath. Exhale once more here. And once you breathe out, stretch out to the toes, reach your arms over your head, lengthening the whole body. And then take your hands down by your sides with the palms facing up. And take your arms a little away from the sides of the body, helping to relax the front of the shoulders a little more. Now close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, just focus into the space in the center of the chest. Start to listen to the sound of your breathing. And then without counting, without a formal rhythm, just see if you can start to make your breath a little bit longer and slower and deeper. On each inhalation, try to feel the breath expanding outwards in all directions. So you're breathing into the back and sides of the body as well as the front of the body. And each time you breathe out, see if there's somewhere you can relax a little bit more, particularly attentive to the face, the jaw, the shoulders and the throat. Maybe there's tension in the front or inner hips that you can relax. Maybe there's tension in the belly you can relax. Listen to the sound of your breath and make it as even as you can, from the very beginning through the middle to the very end. And see how quiet you can make that sound, also helping to lengthen your breathing, to slow your breath cycle. And whenever you notice that your mind has drifted off, which it will do, it's really important not to get frustrated. Equally important not to just get carried away with the thoughts, but to instead keep returning your focus to your breathing. And I'd like you to take 3 more conscious deep breaths like that. Slowly filling your lungs, slowly emptying your lungs, relaxing the body. And once you've finished the 3rd exhalation, just let go of control and let your breath find its own rhythm. Remember, your body knows how to breathe. And you might find that after a few cycles that your breath becomes quieter still, without trying to slow it down, but just as it naturally softens. See if you can keep your mind just resting on the breath, following its rise and fall, without commenting, without changing it, without getting involved in any way. Fully aware but unaffected. And for the last couple of minutes of the practice, see if you can stay in that space of observing, of awareness, coming back again and again and again to the breath whenever the mind drifts off. And gradually allow the body, the breath and the mind to return to stillness. keeping your body still, your mind quiet, just start to slowly reconnect with the movement of your breath, gently lengthening and deepening its rhythm again. And then begin to very slowly move your fingers and toes as you come back to the sense of outward movement. When you're ready, take your arms over your head and stretch out from the fingertips to the toe tips, lengthening the sides and front and back of the body. And gently bending your knees, roll onto your right side and just rest there for a couple of breaths. You might like to rest your head on the outstretched arm. When you feel ready, in your own time, just make your way back to a comfortable seated position. Once you're sitting again, close your eyes. Give your body a little time to get used to being upright again. Be aware of how you are after the practice in body, mind and heart. And see if you can maintain a sense of inner stillness as you go about the activities of the day. Bringing your palms together in front of your heart, reach the arms high, lengthening up into the fingers as you breathe in. And as you exhale, bring your hands to the crown of the head, to the eyebrow centre, to the throat centre, and then back down to the heart. Resting awareness in the heart space. And just gently release the spine forward one last time. And then sit back up. Namaste. Thank you very much for sharing the practice with me. And as always, just let me know if you have any comments or questions. Otherwise, I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Until next time.